Good morning. Welcome back, Dr. Nettles. Welcome back to Ingredients with a Better Life. I'm DNA Chef Jay, joined weekly by Dr. Robert Nettles, founder, chief medical scientist at Dr. Marie Grow. How are you today, doctor?
I'm doing great, Chef Jay. How are you doing? You see both of us on your screen?
I see it. Yes, I do. Yeah, everything
All
is,
right.
is going
Sometimes
great.
I don't want to be here, Chef Jay, but I'm always here.
Yeah. This week we're going to go and talk about a recent study I'm sure you heard of that's on Netflix that was run at Stanford University in California called the Twins Are What You Eat study.
All
Twins,
right.
you are what you eat study. So what they did was they followed a set of 44 twins, um, identical twins, to take out the genetics factor um, for 8 weeks. So where only one twin ate vegan for 8 weeks and one twin ate a normal type omnivore diet, meat, fish, and vegetables without processed foods. That's key.
Vegan
They
and then
used,
one did meat. So the only big
yeah,
change, so it wasn't number of calories, wasn't
it,
time of
well,
day, wasn't so just
I, I'll get into that. So again, they used identical twins. They measured multiple health, cognitive, and metabolic age parameters at the beginning and at the end of the study. So they made a documentary and they pushed the idea that the vegan diet is better than the healthy omnivore diet. So the study ran for only 2 months, and the results were portrayed on a Netflix special, which is interesting. We'll get to it in a minute. But so the vegan group, they say lost more weight, but
so
they also
better. So
lost
that's the
muscle.
key is criteria for better. And you're going to tell me. So I wrote the word better down. And as a scientist, you
Um,
and but better needs some criteria.
they also lost more muscle mass
See, there
as
you go,
well.
Chef Jay. You've got to put everything in the mix before you can
Yes,
use the word better because we
yes.
don't know what makes something better today. Because if it's the weight loss, right, it could or could not be, but you didn't even tell them how much of the
But
stuff they had to
well,
eat.
what's interesting is that they did not even share the results of their A1C in this. So they didn't share their sugar results, which
Well,
I
hold
found
on, Chef Jay. So it sounds like people are cherry picking what they want to show the public.
that's
This
exactly right.
sounds like United States of America. Is that where you got this study?
Well, and you have to. We'll get to who created, who's the creator of Netflix
Wait a
special
minute.
on
Are you
vegan
telling
in a
me
minute.
there's deep pockets involved, Chef Jay, where dollar bills
That is
go in their
correct.
back pocket if the studies show one thing or another? Chef Jay, I don't believe it.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll post up. We'll put a link up to um to the website and to the article, but also it's again it's where the money and the marketing goes behind the documentary it came from. It says the doctor that put the study up is funded by Beyond Meat. So let's
Uh,
put it like that. So yeah, and the other thing that we noticed when we were watching this is that the twins, that only one is the closely followed vegan twins appear to have less energy during their workouts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, another trend, vegan versus omnivore, coming from a medical standpoint, doctor, and not following the science and seeing these trendy things on Netflix now, which is it's a bit out of control. It's a bit
Well,
out of
you
control.
say the word medical standpoint. I let's use the word molecular standpoint. So a lot of different eyeballs can see the same thing that you and I see, and they can share it. You don't necessarily have to be in the medical field to understand molecules. And to understand molecules, you can understand atoms. So two atoms holding hands are molecules. There's only so many molecules in the human body. You can measure them today inside our bloodstream. So nothing is an unknown or a variable today. Everything can be known, but you have to share the data that you find, such as you mentioned, the A1C number. So you and I care
Yeah,
less about vegan and meat. It's the human body cares less about human versus plant. The human body cares about macronutrients. And guess
yeah.
what, earthlings? Only three. There's only three, and the plant has three macronutrients. The plant, the food, the meat base, they've got three of the macronutrients. It's about getting the right amounts of those three macronutrients into the body. And without understanding the small intestine's role in absorbing the three different macronutrients, there is no way to get started with a diet, yet everybody outside of being a doctor wants to give someone a diet for their human body. Everyone outside of a doctor wants to teach people how to get healthy. So everyone outside of the doctors want to give all the information that the doctors supposedly know, and we do know, but we have to put together the science about the physiology of how the human body works and then apply it to a medical condition, or as you mentioned, parameters of health. And then we can share with the rest of society our optimal health ratios and the absolute numbers that have been derived from data calculated from almost 20 years from 6 continents. So no one has the data that you have access to, Chef Jay. So when someone reads their blood work, they're only applying it to the reference ranges that show up inside that lab's their bit of lab data that they have. So there needs to be more refined optimal ranges and numbers, and we're sharing that data as fast as we can, but it's just not getting to the textbooks and then getting to the lab companies, getting adopted. We're looking at probably 2044 where we should have updated lab values, 2044. But that's a step in the right direction. So there should be optimal lab ranges inside, embedded within the other lab ranges, which would really help people have a goal in mind for those macronutrients. And we even have the hormones optimal ranges as well. Yeah.
So they did take some responsibility, saying, admitting that it's crucial to stress that a vegan diet lacks essential nutrients um, for optimal epigenetic processes. Without proper supplementation under a doctor's supervision, it can be, it could be harmful. So, yeah, getting back into supplementation on both sides of omnivore diets and vegan diets, it's pretty difficult, especially on the vegan diet, to get in all of those, those essential nutrients from the diet. So, regardless of the source, whether it's omnivore or vegan, it's best to check in with a specialist like yourself for that biochemical report card, or as you call it, the DNA report card, which blood test, which will, determine where you stand on all these across the board, where you stand with your hormones, with your sugars, with all your cholesterol levels, inherited enzymes, which may be affecting hair loss, and to do that kind of due diligence to see where you are, and to do it under supervision, which was at least somewhat of a responsible thing to do, I thought, for them.
That's it, Chef Jay. You hit the nail right on the head. You said no matter who you are and what you think, it can all be revealed in your blood work. It can be discovered in your blood work, revealed, displayed, observed, so you can prove to yourself that you're actually doing the right thing, because it will come down to a molecular report card. That's a fact. So we have tons of vegans on the program with great results, great report cards, great macronutrients, a good understanding. We have tons of vegans without that understanding with terrible report cards. We have tons of omnivores that do great with their report, and we have tons of omnivores that do terrible on their report cards. So it's a lot less about those distinctions, and it's more about the understanding that comes from the knowledge that we share, that you gain starting with your part 1 assessment, part 2, 12 nutrition emails over the course of the year, 2 personal consultations reviewing what the macronutrients are inside the foods that you eat. The nutrition aspect of the program is worth the price of the program, Chef Jay. So they get a lot from the program. Of course, they get customized supplements based on your blood work that you can't get anywhere else in the world. But they also get top level advice and recommendations, suggestions on improving their health from the inside based on their diets, nutrition, food sources. So I think you do a great job. The staff does a great job. And the patients that are on the program, if we could poll them 10 out of 10, I think we do a great job servicing their optimal health needs. Forget about growing hair. That's the easy part, keeping people healthy. And we have patients in their late 80s on the hair program, testosterone program. So it's not just hair, it's health, it's testosterone, it's getting the right balance of the hormones. Everything matters. So it starts with, as you mentioned, assessment of your blood. So you've got to get the right 9 panels with the hormone axis and the nutrition to be able to combine the two to tell the story. But I think everyone once a year should get that done.
Yeah, we'll put a link here, Doctor, as well as to how easy it is and how to get in touch with people to talk about getting that blood test done. And so, yeah, in closing, another, trending, a documentary directed by a vegan based on a study done by a vegan who directs a program funded by vegan food, somehow miraculously comes to the conclusion that we should all be vegans. And obviously, none of it's disclosed. So it's just a bit buyer beware. So again, before people, go off into next week's trend or, the next big thing that's going to save them, the shortcut is to, go do the research, go to someone like yourself who does the research, find out where you stand during that biochemical report card blood test, and follow the science and not the marketing.
You got it, my friend. Another beautiful day. I appreciate you, Chef Jay.
You as well, Doctor. We'll see you next week on Ingredients for a Better Life.
You got it. Thank you.